my uterine fibroid embolization experience. So, a little bit about my journey. Hello, so my name is Formika. I am in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm coming on today to talk about my journey with my fibroids. I recently had a procedure, and that's what I'm really going to talk about, but I want to kind of give you a little bit about my journey and what I went through throughout this process. But first, I am 43 years old. I have always battled fibroid, uterine, just a lot of female problems, from heavy bleeding, bad cramping, throwing up. I remember even when I was a teenager, I wasn't even able to get out of the bed to go to school some days because it was just that bad. I didn't know what was going on then. It wasn't until I became an adult that I started to notice that something wasn't right. I thought, just being around my friends and other people, and a lot of them wasn't having some of the same issues that I was having. So, and it just became like my period just took over my life. It's like from dating to just going out, or just wanted to, if my cycle came on, that was it. Like, it was nothing, like, that was it. And so recently I had a procedure because I had fibroids, which I always have had for a while, I guess now. So I want to tell you a little bit about my journey with the uterine fibroid embolization, but I want to tell you what got me to that point of having the procedure. So what happened was, maybe in my early 20s, I started going to the doctor. They started putting me on birth control. For bleeding, controlling my cycle and stuff, and everything was epic fail. Nothing worked. I remember being 30 and they started talking about me getting a hysterectomy, and I ended up going to Fabian OBGYN clinic or center in Jacksonville, Florida, because that's where I was living at the time. And I met with a doctor there. I can't remember her name, but she was really, really nice. And I was telling her about how the options that they gave me was a hysterectomy. At 30, you don't want a hysterectomy. I had just literally turned 30. And she was like, no, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And it took a couple of times. I had a few procedures, a histoscope. I can't even really explain to you what they did. It wasn't like I had to be put to sleep, but I had to be sedated a little bit. And they actually went in with a tool. They made my uterus, or they serve it. It's kind of like where your cervix contracts when you have a baby. So they had to do that to get in to look. I had so much tissue. She thought I had cancer, but it came back that it wasn't. So they cleaned it out. I had to do it's kind of like a DNC. And then I got diagnosed with endometriosis. I think I'm saying that right. And then as I aged, it was endometriosis. So just a lot of going back and forth to the doctor for years, to never just really having my cycle. And I think so many women go through this, and I think so many young women are going to go through this. And I know I'm skipping over a lot, and I have to go back and give you more about my journey with my cycle and the things I went through. And I will tell you, I do not have biological kids. So I never conceived. I was married once. But then after my divorce, I didn't want kids. So that's another story. So, but in between that time, I never conceived when I was pregnant. When I was married. But back to this. So after all the journeys from my 20s into now, I got diagnosed with so many things, with fibroids, ovarian cysts. I had a cyst ruptured that was like back in 2017, and that was the most painful experience I ever had. Like, I don't know if you had a cyst rupture before. I didn't even know what was going on. My sister thought that my appendix had ruptured because I couldn't even stand up. So, but yeah. So moving forward to now, to 2021. Back in 2017 or 16, I had got the IUD because they was like, get the IUD, the Mirena, to help control your bleeding, because I also was a severe anemic. So I decided to go ahead and get that process because I never had surgery, never wanted surgery, never needed it for anything. So I was like, okay, let's go with the less invasive procedure. So I went with the IUD. The IUD did nothing. I still cramped, I still bled. It did control some of my bleeding a little bit, to where I wasn't as severe anemic, but it didn't, like, I still had issues. My back ached all the time, even if I was not on my cycle. So earlier this year, it just got bad. Like, the IUD wasn't helping, and sex was painful. Everything was just painful. And so I called my OBGYN, but, we was doing COVID, so I really didn't want to go in, in 2020, because I'm like, so much other stuff was going on. And I had also lost my little sister. She had passed away throughout that time, and I had got her daughter, and, she had 3 children. One was adult, and a teenager and a 5-year-old. So I was trying to focus on them. So I had to put my pain aside. But at the beginning of 2021, I just couldn't take it anymore. It was just like this, like, you live through it because you learn to cope through it. It's kind of like I don't know, like an addict. I don't know, like you learn to cope with the pain. Like, you just get through it, and you just do whatever you have to do to, get through it. But then it was just like, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to go through this pain anymore. So moving forward, I go in and I see my OBGYN. She referred me over to a radiologist, Dr. Kevin Carson, and we had to do a phone conference because, again, it's still like COVID, So he sent me for an MRI. Before my MRI, my OBGYN did tell me that I had like 3 large fibroids and many other fibroids. I don't even know total how many fibroids I have yet because I have not did my follow-up, but I'm going to let you know about that soon. But I know they said I had 3 large ones. When I asked my doctor what was the size, like, she was like, size of grapefruits. I'm like, wow. So, and then that's not even considering the ones that were a little smaller than those. So she referred me over. First, she asked me if I wanted to have a hysterectomy. Well, I can't be out for 6 to 8 weeks, or however long it is that you have to be out for a hysterectomy, because I have a 5-year-old niece. I don't have someone to watch her that long. I can't be down. And and my niece I am raising, so I was like, no, I can't do that. So then she told me about uterine fibroid embolization. Never heard of it before, but decided to go ahead and check it out to see what it was about. So she referred me over to a radiologist, which was, like I told you, Dr. Kevin Carson. Very nice, very professional. He met with me over the phone. He, had my medical records. He saw some of the fibroids that showed up on the ultrasound, but to get a more clear picture, he needed me to go in for an MRI. So I went in for an MRI, and that's when they were able to see a little more of what was going on. So you have to qualify for the UFE procedures. So I was a candidate for it. So I decided to go ahead and go through it. And plus my insurance covered it at 100%. So I did not have to come out of pocket at all for anything. So then so when you schedule your appointment for UFE, and I have seen, and I want to go over this because I have seen a lot of videos. I did a lot of research about the UFE, looking at YouTube videos, other people experience, and I know everybody's experience is different. People's experience is going to be different from mine, even with me telling you, but some people may experience some of the same thing, because some of the things that people experience in theirs, I did experience in mine. So before you go, I had to get my IUD out. So I had to wait 4 weeks. Actually, I waited like 6 weeks because I went on vacation. And so I had to wait 4 weeks after I got my IUD out, because you can't be on birth control or have any like hormones or estrogen or anything like that before your procedure. So I went ahead and got that out. That was horrible. I bled like the whole time pretty much. Um, and then on June 1st of 2021, I actually went in for my procedure. Okay, so the day of my procedure, I will tell you a little bit how it went. So you go in, the doctor, you have to take someone with you. My sister-in-law, Monique, went with me, and they have to be available for, I think it was like 4 or 5 hours. As you go through your procedure, because they have to go, well, how Georgia, and I'll tell you, first let me go back. So Dr. Carson he's the co-founder of the Georgia Vascular Institute out in Stockbridge, Georgia. A nice facility, nice staff. Everybody was so, from day one, they were so welcoming and just like answer any questions that I had or any concerns. So we went in, they met with her, they met with me, they gave her instructions on my medication. Like, they really didn't even go over my medication. And I think, and I'm glad, because I wouldn't remember it. But they met with the person who brings you in, and they go over your medication. They go over the procedure with them just as they're going over it with you. And they took me back, and the nurse, I don't even know like a lot of their names besides some of the people I spoke with, but they talk to you about the actual day. They talk to you about what's going to happen. They get information about any history, or just like how it is. I never had surgery, so I never had to experience anything like that. So my nurse was really nice. She actually told me she had the procedure, and she told me some things that she experienced. She told me some things, like some do's and don'ts that she would recommend. And I was glad, because you need that, when I never had it, so I don't know what it's like. So she went over some do's and don'ts. She also told me about little things that she experienced. Some of the things she was talking about was the pain. She told me about how she felt afterwards. She felt that her procedure worked. She also stated that some other things, like how you would feel a few days later, what happened to your body after the procedure, how you would pass some of the fibroids and maybe older. And when she, okay, and this is not meant to be funny at all, but if anybody know me, know that I bring humor to anything. But when she told me about that older, I was like, child, say what? I'm not going outside. But and the reason why I want to bring up the older is because as many videos that I saw about the UFE, no one ever talked about that. No one ever talked about the fact that you have dying fibroids that's coming out of your vajayjay, and it's going to smell. And it's not you, it's the fact that you have dead blood, dead fibroids tissue that are coming out of your body. And I think as women, we don't want to talk about that because it may feel embarrassing, but this is part of our process. And I think for any family member, any friend, any husband, any boyfriends, anybody that's supporting someone in this journey, you need to be supportive, and you need to know everything that's happening. So she did go over the odor. She said that it's going to be an odor. She said it's not you, it's the fibroids that's dying off. And so I'll tell you about that that part later. But that was something that stuck in my mind, because I was just like, wait, what? And so, because like I said, no one ever told me that before that day. And so anyway, so you go ahead, you get on the I'm a diabetic, and I also have high blood pressure. Been that way. I've been a diabetic since my mid-30s. It runs in my family. No, I don't know. I've been diabetic for a while, but it runs in my family. I have high blood pressure since I was 23. Just never was able to get it under control. Don't know why I had it, but I had it. Anyway, and so they check my sugar to make sure like everything is okay. And I walked back and so then after all that is done, she gave me some, I think she gave me Percocet. I don't even know what she gave me, but she gave me some medicine. And I take the medicine a few, like 30, 40 minutes before my procedure. Dr. Kevin Carson came in, he met with me, and he asked me, did I have any questions? And he asked me, and I haven't had my follow-up, but I remember him asking me, did I want to have a hysterectomy? And I was like, no. Like, I don't know why he asked me that, because we had already talked about it. So I'm going to ask him when I do my follow-up, though. And so, anyway, so then I walk back, and we go to the back of where the surgery room is. And I get on this. It's like I don't know, but it has like this x-ray machine over you. And I don't even remember too much about that room, but I remember the x-ray machine because I remember having to lay under it on the bed. And to be honest, I knew one of the girls that worked there, so that was good. I can't remember how I knew her, but she knew my whole family. So, but I was a little out of it about it, nervous. And so after I laid down on the table, I remember them talking to me, and that was it. I literally don't remember, I don't remember anything else. I don't remember when they told me I was going to sleep. I don't remember going to sleep. I don't remember nothing. I just remember we talked, and I don't know, I woke up. But when I woke up, oh my God. So this is the next story about how I woke up from my UFE procedure. Okay, so when I woke up from my procedure, oh my God, you guys, I don't want to scare anybody. This is my journey and my experience. But I remember just being in pain. And I instantly just cried because all I felt was pain in my stomach, pain, not in my vajayjay, but like on the surface, I guess where they went in through the growing. But it was just so painful. I remember the girl that was there that I told you I know, that I can't remember how I know. But I remember her just saying Famika, and she was holding my hand, and I just couldn't pay attention. The pain was, oh, you guys, the pain was so awful. It was horrendous. I mean, to the point where I just cried. I don't even remember. I think they must have put me back under, because when I woke back up the next time, I was in the recovery room, and she said I had been in there an hour and a half or so. And so when I woke up then, it wasn't as much pain. And so then when I ended up going home, so I waited for a while. They wanted to make sure I was okay. They kept putting the oxygen thing on me. And I was in pain still, but it wasn't like what it was when I woke up in that operating room. And so my sister-in-law come and get me. I was supposed to go home around 3 or 4. I think I went home around 5. I don't know what, so long. And they was telling me some other stuff. I have a lot of questions that I need to ask because there was some stuff that was said that's in my head but I was so fucked up that I can't remember. So I got questions tomorrow, which is my follow-up that I'm gonna ask. So anyway, so then I woke up and I'm like, when I go home, I'm in the car, you feel so nauseated, and my sister-in-law was like, you have to eat because you have to take your medicine. I didn't have an appetite. I didn't want to eat. I think she bought me a salad. I think I took like 2 bites and was like, just give me the meds, give me the drugs, give me to me. So she gave me my medicine. She got me home. She gave me medicine in the car again. She got me home. and I got in bed. So this is where my story gets interesting. Um, so that was, I got home around 5:30. I want to say 5:30 maybe, and then I went to sleep because I took the medication. So some of the medicine that I had, I'll tell you, was like, I think it was Percocet, ibuprofen, Benadryl. They gave me stool softeners, some medicine for nausea, X-Lax. I think that's pretty much all the ones I had that the doctor, prescribed for me to take, because the Percocet makes you constipated, and that right there is another story about this procedure. So anyway, so then I get home, I'm asleep. Next part, I wake up, and I'm gonna tell you about that. Um, Before I tell you about that, you have to have, my doctor recommended that somebody stay with me two to 3 nights, I think it was, because they have to wake you up every like 4 hours or whatever to give you your medicine. So this is my advice: make sure whoever you have stay with you follows the doctor order when it comes down to how to give you your medicine, and making sure that you wake up and that you're getting that medication, because that medicine is very important. It's like you don't want to feel that pain. So I'm going to tell you about what happened when I woke up. Okay, so June 1st, I come home 5:30. I go to sleep from taking my medication, because my sister-in-law give it to me in the car. She tells my friend who is staying with me, tell him how to give me my medicine. Apparently, I didn't get my medicine on time. I woke up probably 6 hours later, and I'm in excruciating pain. You guys, I cannot tell you the pain I felt and how bad I felt. Like, it was awful. So I woke up. I remember having to go to the bathroom. It's like I had to pee. I couldn't pee. It was just awful, and I felt so sick. And then I remember him trying to make me eat, and I couldn't eat because I'm sick. I'm in pain. And anybody know when you're in excruciating pain, the last thing you're thinking about is eating. And so then I'm like, just get my medicine. And he didn't want to give it to me at first because he's like, oh, you have to eat. I'm like, call my doctor. So he called my doctor, and my doctor, Dr. Carson, was, asking when the last time I had my medicine. He said, like, have she thrown up? Because I guess he can hear how much pain I'm in. And this has to be around 11 o'clock at night. And so I'm sick, and I'm standing. I feel like I'm about to pass out. I'm just like in all this pain, you guys. All this pain is horrible. And I just feel sick on top of that. I feel like I'm about to pass out. I'm hot. My stomach is hurting. Everything is hurting. And so Dr. Carson asked my friend, he was like, have she thrown up? And he said no. He was like, if she throw up, she's going to have to go to the emergency room. So he told him what to give me, and he gave me my medicine. 2 seconds later, I'm vomiting everywhere, and I can't stop. Like, I'm just throwing up, to the point where I'm about to just like pass out. I'm weak. I barely can stand. I'm like, call my doctor back. So he called Dr. Carson back, and Dr. Carson was like, okay, she needs to go to the emergency room. So I get to the emergency room. I'm in so much pain. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that pain, never in my life, as 43 years of living, have I ever experienced that much pain. So I get to the emergency room. I can't walk. I'm in a wheelchair. And I'm like, just give me something. I don't care, like, now. And so they do all my stuff. I think I was there about 30, 45 minutes before I actually got back to a room. And so, but they seen me because they gave me medicine. They met with me. They had to do some other stuff, blood work and stuff. So skipping past all that, I get into a room, and they come in, like the nurse coming, the doctor coming, and they giving me like these shots. I'm like, what are you giving me? Because I'm out of it, but I'm still needing to know what they're giving me. I worked at a hospital as a social worker, so I know how hospital goes. So I'm just like, what are you giving me? And so they give me insulin. I had to have an insulin shot. Now I do take pills for my, I'm a diabetic too, I'm type 2. So, but my sugar had spiked so much that I had to have insulin shot. And then they had to give me morphine. I had 2 doses of morphine. I think I got there around maybe 12 something. I did not leave. They was wanting to admit me into the hospital for pain management. And this is why I say it's important for the person who stayed with you during your UFE to follow the doctor's instructions on how to give you your medicine. They wanted to keep me in the hospital for pain management. I really did not want to stay. I have this thing with hospitals. And they wanted me to go to Piedmont Henry. Anybody know in Atlanta? What is it? I live closer to Fayetteville. So I ended up going to Piedmont Fayetteville, and I wasn't going to go Piedmont Henry anyway because both my dad and my sister passed there. So I have this thing, I don't ever want to be in Piedmont Henry. So I go to Piedmont Fayette. I don't want to be admitted. I don't care what Piedmont it is. I don't want to be admitted into the hospital. So they keep me there. And I'm not throwing up anymore. I'm not vomiting. I'm not having those symptoms. The doctor was like, well, you look a lot better than you did. Like, he was like, you look so much better. I guess because at this point, even though I was still in pain a little, my pain was managed. So that was the worst part of my UFE, was that I had to go to the emergency room. I got so sick, it spiked every level in my body. Like I was just sick, and it is important for you to follow those doctors. Whoever you get, make sure they understand that whatever your doctor tell you, you do, because you're not getting your pain medicine and you're not getting it as they say to get it. That pain is awful. I'll tell you that. So I'll tell you what happened when I got home. Okay, I want to go back for a little bit because I want to tell you what happened when I got home, but I want to tell you what happened before. So I told you I had to go to the emergency room. I told you I lost my little sister last year in April. So my friend that was here taking care of me, he's just a friend, by the way, you guys. Nobody I was dating, just a friend. He's that I've been knowing for a long time. Calls, he's all crying on the phone. He called my sister that's in Colorado, and he was like just crying, and I hear him doing this, but I can't stop him. When you lose a sibling, and how my sister passed last year, it was all in one day. And when he called my sister go in panic mode because she thought it was me crying, and it wasn't. And she was like, well, what's wrong? Where's Mika? You know, where's my sister? Like, what's wrong? And she's driving. She have her 17-year-old son in the car. It's traumatic for them. So my sister thought, she said she just hung up the phone because she was like, I didn't know what happened. She was like, I felt like I was back last year. It was traumatic for her. And I'm telling my friend, like, why would you call my sister? You know, we just lost my little sister last year. I'm just telling y'all all the things. I'm telling y'all about this because stress-wise, mentally, emotionally, you have to have good support when you're going through this procedure. But anyway, and so my sister got scared, and she thought something was happening. Because all he told, he's crying. He was like, she's in pain, and we got to go to the emergency room. And my sister thinking like the worst. And I told him later, I said, you can't call my siblings after we lost my little sister last year and do that. Like, why would you call her crying? Why were you even crying? And he was like, I don't know. I just never seen you in that much pain. Let me tell you, make sure you have someone that is able to deal with whatever going to come up, because I wasn't even crying. So you have to have someone that, even if you get sick, even if you're emotional, even if you have something that happened, that's able to be be strong for you and a strength for you, because I felt like I had to be the strong one and the one in pain. So I wanted to tell you about that, because that was also causing me stress, because I was so worried about my sister, even in my pain, and my brother, because they was all like freaking out because they didn't know what was happening. And then my friends stopped responding to them. They didn't know what was happening. And my sister finally ended up calling my phone, and I called her when I got in the car, and I told her that I was okay, but I was just in pain and I had to go to the emergency room because I threw up, and Dr. Carson wanted me to go. But she was in frantic. My nephew, her son, was in frantic. It was like, let's just get tickets, let's go home, let's go check on TT Mika. I mean, it was crazy. So I just leave it there. Just have somebody and this is the thing. Before my procedure, I'm an organized person. I sent a group text out to everybody who was helping, everybody who was picking up my niece, everybody who was helping me with her, everybody. I sent them the doctor information. I sent everybody a group text. All he had to do was just put it in the group text. Mika threw up. Dr. Carson wanted us to go to the emergency room. Call y'all when we get there. It was an emergency, but it wasn't an emergency. Like, I didn't want him to scare anybody. Or he could have just waited until we actually got to the emergency room. I mean, I don't know. But to call her crying was really just ridiculous to me. But anyway. So, moving forward, I get released from the hospital because the doctor asked me, he said, they wanted to admit me for pain management, but because I wasn't throwing up and it seemed like I could keep my oral medicine down, and I had been there for a few hours, I haven't thrown up, they were able to let me go home. So I get home, and it's still pain. I'm not gonna lie, it's still pain. I'm hurting. All I can think about is my family. All I can think about is my nieces and my nephews, and I have to be strong for them. My brother comes up. He was mad because just some things, but he ended up coming up, and him and my sister-in-law was like, no, we're gonna take care of Mika. So they came up. Me and my sister in Colorado talk to each other every day, every hour, every second, every minute, and she was calling, checking on me. My niece, that's 21, was coming in and out. So at this point, I had my family that was coming in, and that was making sure I got my medicine, making sure I ate, making sure I was okay, making sure, things that I should have probably been getting from the beginning. But they work, they have kids, and that's why I thought everything would be fine. I didn't think it was going to be this much drama. So anyway, then when my brother, he stayed up, and I could just see the look in his eyes, like he was really worried because I was really, really weak. I was in a lot of pain. And then comes the constipation. So this is the next step. So after I get home, and you taking so much Percocet and other narcotics, your constipation level is on high. So I couldn't go to the bathroom. So on top of the pain that I was already having, I started now having constipation pain. That was triple the pain. So now I have to get this out. Sorry to go over this and to be so gruesome, but this is the reality of what the surgery was. And so I'm trying to focus on getting that out. So they want you to take X-Lax. I also had irritable bowel syndrome. Sorry to give y'all so much detail about my life, but this is it. So I ended up taking one of my prescribed medicine that I take anyway. That helped. That relieved a lot of the constipation. I would say that my stomach still was hurting. And so when I was using the bathroom, for whatever reason, it hurt. My stomach, it just hurt. I got gas a lot. I will say try to snack on something, eat something light, soup, crackers, stuff like that, because that does help. Ginger ale was something that I also had. My brother went and got me Powerade, which gave me a lot of, it kept me, I guess, hydrated. I drank a lot of water. I ended up drinking a lot of water because we have a friend that's a nurse practitioner. She was telling me to drink a lot of water to help with the constipation. So I ended up doing that. And now, at this point, I feel myself gaining my strength back. My stomach still hurts. To this day, it's still painful. It's been almost a week. No, it's been a week today, actually. And I still have some pain. It's not as bad as it was, nowhere near as bad as it was. But technically, from my instruction sheet that my doctor gave me, on your second day, you're supposed to start feeling better. My second day, I was not better. My third day, I was not better. And my fourth day, I was not better. I think by Sunday is when I had my procedure on the 1st, which was a Tuesday. That Sunday, I think that's when I kind of started to feel where I can, and I had to make myself walk around. I will tell you that walking helps. Oh yeah, and I had to wear these compression socks. I'll try to insert a picture of those, what they look like. Not socks, but this compression machine, because of they don't want you to get blood clots, and because my family, my sister, that's how she passed away, of blood clots, and my grandfather also, who passed away, but he passed away of other stuff, but he also had a blood clot disorder, him and my little sister. So because we had that in my family, they wanted me to make sure that I wore those to prevent blood clots. So I'll try to insert a picture if I can of those. So I had to wear those for like 3 or 4 days. I think 4 days. It probably would have been only 2 if I was able to get up on the second day like I was supposed to, versus going to the emergency room the first day and coming home. And anyway, but by that Sunday, I was able to take those, or that Saturday, I was able to take those off. I didn't have to wear them. Even though I was walking around, I wasn't walking enough to where I felt comfortable enough to not wear them. So I haven't worn them since Saturday. So what else? So now I was just, I'm just trying to heal. I will tell you my journey, I think, because like I said, you have to have someone who's gonna follow the doctor's order, because you're not gonna be able to do it. The procedure is painful. I will tell you that. I don't care what nobody. Mine was painful. Okay, I woke up on the operating table in pain. I had pain when I had to go to the emergency room. I had pain the next day. I was in pain. I still have pain now. Even now while I'm talking to you, my stomach is still having pain, but it's not as bad. Like I can function and deal through. It's kind of like cramp pain, like menstrual cramps, but it still hurt. You do spot. Oh, and the odor. My odor was not as bad as I thought. I thought it was going to be like so bad that people won't smell it, but it's not like that. Like you can, like when I started bleeding, probably the 3rd day after my procedure, where you start bleeding and passing some of the fibroids. But now I'm just kind of spotting, so it's not it's bad. It's not. The odor. I thought the odor was going to be. I thought it was going to be bad, but it's not. But something she told me to get, the nurse told me to get, was this, if you heard of the honey pot, it's plant-based VJJ products for women. It's natural, it's healthier. Do not do dish. I got the VJJ suppositories. I got it, which helps with, any odor, because like it's not good to dish. It's all natural based stuff. I got the feminine wash, the wipes, and I'll try to take a picture of those. I'll try, because I don't know if I feel like getting up. And take a picture of those and show you what I got. But it's called the honey pot. And getting those and using those products afterwards. Like, so I use that now as my cleansing of my body, because everybody know when you have your cycle or bleeding, you have to, it's cleansing itself, but you still have to clean yourself regardless. And that is a natural product. It's plant-based. So I like that product. So I would recommend you getting that probably before your procedure if you do decide to go with the UFE. I do not know the success of my UFE right now. I have a phone follow-up tomorrow with my doctor. I'm going to let him know a little bit about my pain that I'm still in. I don't know how many fibroids they actually did, but I will post another video after this one to let you guys know how many, what was, if it was a success, because there's a possibility that it could not have been a success. It's a possibility, So I don't know yet. But I will tell you, it is a pain involved. It is hurtful. It's stressful. I am a full-time TT parent to my niece, So she does dance. That was stressful. Like, I'm constantly worried about her. I'm constantly just worried about things. I think, and my doctor, Dr. Carson, I was like, oh, well, can I just do a week off? He was like, no, you need 2 weeks off. And I understand now, because he did say that, you don't need to stress. I say make sure your support team is there. Make sure you're relaxed. Make sure you have no drama. Make sure that the person that is coming to take care of you communicates with your family. If that's something that you want, that's what I wanted. Make sure that you are getting your medication as prescribed by the doctor, not by how they feel. And make sure that if you have any concerns, call your doctors. Call your doctor. I'm glad my doctor was available. He was awesome, 24/7, even down to the point of when I got to the emergency room, he was very involved. Like, his recommendation of what he wanted or what he recommended. So my Dr. Carson was amazing. I will, recommend him. He's very good. He's very thorough. He's very educational, and he would answer any questions that you have. And I think that's important, because I have been to some people who I had questions and they did not answer my questions in detail. He will answer your questions in detail. So I would say, I can't tell you if I would recommend the UFE yet or if I would not. I just wanted to tell you about my journey. I can tell you that if you do have it and you're out in my area, between Clayton County, Henry County, Atlanta area, I will say that Dr. Carson him and his staff are amazing. So I would recommend them. I don't know the success, but I will keep you guys posted. I hope that this helps someone. I hope that this educate people on the UFE as far as my experience, if you had questions about it. And I do want to do more, because I have never, I'm sorry, my phone about to die, so I gotta hurry up. But I have never came on just to talk about my journey with my fibroids, or my female problems. I think it is important for women to talk about them. I think it's important for family and especially husbands and them boyfriends to know, because the pain that's associated with it, and why we may not feel like being bothered, or why we're in it's excruciating pain. I will tell you that fibroids are not fun. Having ovarian cysts is not fun. And I think women go through so much as far as with our bodies, and especially with stuff like this, and we don't talk about it, and we feel embarrassed because it have to deal with periods and bleeding. But I feel like if we're not educating each other and sharing each other's experience and really coming on, especially now at 43, I just want to be able to help someone else. So I have always went to the doctor, as far as, pap smears and stuff like that. But seeing a specialist didn't start to my early 20s. So I would say, if you have questions, make sure you talk to your doctor. I would say advocate for yourself, because that's what I did. I told them, I'm no longer going through this pain. Send me to somebody. Do something. Advocate. You know your body. You know your pain. You know what you're going through every day. You're your own expert. As a social worker, I tell people that all the time. When I'm dealing with people, you're your own expert in your life. No one can tell you what your body is going through. Even as doctors, they are there to listen and supposed to be a advocate for you, and to be that expert to help you medically, yes, but you know the pain that you're going through. You know what your body goes through on a day-to-day basis. So I definitely would say advocate for yourself. I hope that this was helpful to someone. I will post my follow-up on my from tomorrow, when I meet with Dr. Carson about, the procedure and how things went, how many fibroids I have. And I will make another video and come back on and share that with you. So other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope this was helpful to someone. Thank you.